and everything, like how can you create a new test set and everything, how can you allocate your time slot, how can you allocate the LG's load generator, everything I'll be discussing. So HP launched load runners as product, and it called Image Performance Center. So now, as we know some history about load runner, now we'll focus some what is load runner and how it works. How load runner works. So basically, load runner works on the concept of recording and replaying. The user activities, normally what it happens is like, as a real user, we'll try to simulate, like suppose I'll give an example. Let's open, like I'm a real user. Let's think I'm a real user, and I'm just demonstrating flipkart.com. When I click on flipkart.com, I'm actually launching the URL. Like, so I on my browser is a client. Like I'm the client. So let's see, think about this. Browser is the client, and when I request for this particular domain, flipkart.com, on the background, it go to the DNS lookup and it search the IP, and with because once I hit this, it will go and search in the DNS lookup table and search that particular IP, and then it send a request to that particular IP, and now I'm launching the URL. So it will give some response like this thing. Once I launch this URL, the Flipkart page will be launched. So once I launch this product, so you are performing some real user activity, like you are launching the page. So definitely that's what I want to. It normally works on the concept of recording and replaying, which I'll be telling on the further class. We'll be seeing the script also, and it records and replays the real user activity and generates the desired load on the server. Suppose once you record all the thing, once you record the Flipkart launch page and you want to push some n number of users, like because it will be a very expensive once, like a human behavior, like a real user, if they wanted to try performance testing, it's not at all possible to simultaneously launch the Flipkart page with thousand number of users. Let's just think about the cost will increase in a very high scale, and this same activity is being performed by load runner. So we just get a license, and we can use for in a year we can use n number of times. So but it will be really difficult and challenge for communicating and taking all the result collating all the results manually. So definitely it's not recommended. So like let's see, like how load runner works. I'll just type it out few things so that it will be helpful for you guys. So it works on the concept of recording and replaying the real user activity. So as I discussed, like I launched the web page of Flipkart, and I am the real user. So once I do the similar thing in the load runner, a virtual user, I'll be the virtual user, and I'll be trying to record the scenario based on recording. And once I record, I'll enhance all my script, and then I'll replay that script, whether, because there will be some dynamic values which we need to correlate it, so that our script needs to pass, and then we can perform this kind of activity. Like, we can push, instead of one user, we can push thousand of users, and the same, and the thousand of virtual users will particularly hit that particular websites at the same particular time. So this is what the tool does. uh, so now, as I already told, like, we perform, and once we record the application, will enhance the script, and the uh, replay the script will generate the desired load on the server. So once we record, and we record the application, we'll enhance the script, and then replay, and then replay the script. Once we are able to replay the script with one user, we'll try to generate a desired load on the server, and we'll test that particular websites or applications, whether they are scalable, or they are capable of that particular load or not. So it simply simulates the real user action, and identify the performance of an application. So once we record, what our tool is doing, it simulates the real world user action, like, as a real user behavior, the same tool does, and it will simulate the behavior and identify the performance of an application by generating some virtual load. We will generate virtual load for the application. So, as I already discussed, like, recording slash scripting, we'll also see that also. Let's see, this is the first thing. Then we'll, in controller, we'll do the execution and analysis. We will analyze the test results. So once, so now we'll, let's I'll before starting this particular thing, I'll just discuss about the components of load runner. First one is fusion controller, analysis, load generator. Okay, let's just discuss some insights about views and controller analysis so that you'll get a particular idea about this all components. Vusion is nothing but virtual user generator. Vusion is nothing but virtual user. Vusion is nothing but virtual user generator. So normally it records the end user activity, right? This tool is used for scripting. We record the application. Normally, this tool, this view user component is this component. Sorry, not a tool. Component. Component is used for scripting. We record the application by using this particular component. And now, like what we record the end user business process and creates an automated test script. We record the real world user action and then create an automated test script which will generate some load on the server. Like once the script is ready, once the script is ready, we push some load on the server. So after the script is ready and we have automated the script, we put some load on the server. And let's just see one of the script. This PC. Okay, so this is the way it generates the script. Like once we create that script, I'll discuss all things like what are the individual components and all, like what is the view user test. This is the file we normally create. Once we create the script, we'll look at this virtual user test. So we'll double click this particular thing and it will open in the Vusion. And I'll discuss about everything once we proceed in the class. This way, like inside the folder it will have few components which will I'll be discussing about this thing. So just giving a just you'll have some idea about this thing. So once we as we have already known about the load runner views and component, now let's see about load generators. Let's see about, like, not load generators, let's see about controllers. Normally I'll just try to open that also. Controller, double click. I think you have already seen this particular tool. Okay, so basically, once when I focus on the tool, I'll be explaining every each and every detail about this particular tool. But now, for now, like this is the tool we use for normally running our scenario, designing our scenario, everything. We'll organize, drive, and manage and monitor the load test in this particular scenario. But normally in companies we don't prefer this local controller. We'll try to use the cloud one, which is performance center, as it is accessible to every from everywhere. Suppose you are from different teams, like in a project, like the people work as on site and off site, so offshore. So normally the people, like suppose your client is a us person, and hey, their timing is different than ours. Normally, we try to work on our script and we try to execute some of the things. And during 9 to 6 or some kind of this timing, we'll try to wrap it our session. And their timing will be around at 4:30. They'll try to log in to the like 4:30 or 5 evening 5 o'clock. So this the way they can access, and as it is on the cloud and it is a SaaS, software as a service, they can use from anywhere, any global location. And normally, like here, we need to the performance tester has to prepare a workload modeling. I'll discuss on that particular topic as well. And once we build the script and when we run the scenario, we'll discuss this about workload. How can we design the workload, and we'll see some kind of workload and prepare the test scenario. For example, like there are around, let's demonstrate. This is the maximum to this in the freeware tool. Normally 40 users we can run the test. So let's take an example. 40 users generate like 2 requests per second load on the server. To execute a performance test, there must be at least one controller. Like in the absence of LG, a controller can also generate the load up to certain limit. So normally, there in real world scenario, we'll try to configure when we run the test. We will allocate some kind of LG, and from that LG, it will generate the load, that particular load. Suppose we are running for 1,000 number of users. So depending on the LG configuration, we will particularly distribute our load accordingly. Like according to the number of loads, we'll distribute the number of LGs. It will be divided, and depending on their configuration. So I'll write few things about controller. So controller, we manage and monitor the test execution. A controller is also used for workload modeling. Normally, performance tester normally performance tester design workload modeling according to the efforts or volumetrics. Let's like as we have already known, we can upload the script in the controller, and from the controller itself, we'll design the scenario and then run with our normal users. We will distribute for the users. So let's see now. Let's discuss about the third component, analysis. So what particularly analysis is? Normally we'll open that particular thing also. Analysis. So as I haven't run any kind of test, this is the user interface of load analysis. This is the third component which I was referring to. Here normally we try to view and monitor, view the graphs and analyze all the graphs accordingly. It has wide variety. It gives you a flexibility to see wide number of graphs like any will once we proceed with the test, and then when we start analyzing, we'll use this particular load analysis tool. So normally as a common definition, I'll try to give like it helps to view and compare the result of the test execution, and analysis tool also display the wide number of result graphs and statistics to validate the test result against the defined NFR. Like when we run the particular test, we in the script, when we design the script, we'll have we'll distribute accordingly with the number of transaction. So we our main criteria, when I have already discussed in my previous class as well, like when we run the test, the transactions and the critical business transaction should not breach. Like it should be under the SLA. Like suppose it should be 5 second, means it should not be more than 5 second. We'll even see while analyzing that particular thing, and will validate this test result with the NFRs what we got, and find out the bottlenecks. The main, if any bottlenecks are observed, then we have to find out and report, and we have to retest this particular test execution. So let's just write something about this particular tool. Analysis helps to view and compare the test results of the test execution. Compare the results of the test execution. It has wide range of graphs, wide range of result graph. Example, EPS, average response time. So these are some few examples. I'll be explaining this about this graph as well. And our main objective is to main objective is to verify the transaction response time. Transaction response time should not be breached. It should be within SLA. So response time should be within SLA. And we have once we analyze the graph, we have to find out the bottleneck. The bottleneck. Bottlenecks, performance bottlenecks degrade the performance of an application. So as you might guys might have known already, like you got a pretty good idea about the components of load runner and what is the particular use. Once we deep dive in this particular tool, you'll have a vast experience on this thing, and definitely you'll be learning more things. We also generate report. This tool also generate a report, generate HTML report. We'll even see that once we try to when we go and see the graphs and all, analyze all the graphs and prepare a test report. At that particular time, will see this thing as well. So as we have already covered this, our third thing like analysis, we'll try to see for the fourth one, which is load generator. But the word what we by looking this word, like normally what you guys are understanding, load and generator, it does it with the combination, it means it generate what does a power generator do? It generates a power. Similarly, the same thing, what does a load generators do? It generates the particular load. So load is nothing but the virtual users, we users, what our tool is trying to simulate the real user activity, right? Similarly, the same thing it does, it generates the load, a virtual user load. So these are the machine which generates the virtual load as per the requirement. Requirement. This machine generates the load as per the requirement. So once you know the what load does it generate? The virtual load. During the test execution, controller distribute each user in the scenario to a load generator. So during the test execution, controller distributes each view user in the scenario to a load generator. Like normally, when I open the controller, this is the component where you can add it up. Like for a, once you add this particular group, like let's add a Jeopard store. Uh, so once you have so my look now my virtual I don't have a cloud IPs or some kind of thing. If I have, I can add even that particular load generator. But for now, currently I have the load generator is the local host. If you wanted to add any new load generator, you can even add Linux or Windows or this particular temporary everything. This load generator will only like generate number of loads. So I think like we are pretty clear about the different components. Like we have seen this particular views and controller analysis load generator. And we'll even discuss something about agents. Like you'll have some idea about agent as well. Agent is nothing but it set up a communication between the controller and the load generator. Set up a communication between the controller and load generator. See, nothing. While installing, we got a just I'll show you. See, start load runner agent after installation. So when we see this, we go to the graph, and you can see that load runner agent services, load runner agent processes. So this all things will be running in background. I'll even go task manager services. See HP diagnostic HS services. So you might have got already, like this is the agent activation time. So this is the services. I'll just open once micro focus. So here you can see this thing, particular thing. Uh, Host ID generator, load runner agent configuration, load runner agent process, load runner. agent runtime setting, agent services. This all the agents, like normally it develop a communication between the controller and the load generator. Like controller, in the controller you normally view, or the once we run the test, it will populate few data. The agent only, it will collect the data, and from the load generator will normally generate the number of users. So I think you have got an idea about agent. Set up a communication between the controller and the load generator. So with this, I think like I have discussed the four components of load runner. Like, and now we will even discuss more topics on load runner as we are aware of the components. So today's class we have discussed, uh, we have covered how can you download and install the particular tool, load runner tool. And once you install, I have already discussed the components of load runner: fusion, controller, analysis, load generator. So with this, I wrap up the class, and hope you guys have a very clear idea of this particular topic. So if you face any kind of a doubt or challenges, then please let me know, or you can watch this video